Greetings, I am Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Valheim series. Today we're just going to tidy up on a bit more gathering, get all of this lovely copper back to base and see what sort of improvements we can make. We'll be keeping an eye out for another dungeon. Spoiler alert, yeah, we didn't find any, but stay tuned, plenty to see. If you like following my content, don't forget to give me a like, and if you want to be notified about future releases, just make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. Okay, this is the third of the 3-episode series I recorded at the same time. Hope you've been enjoying them so far. This one's another one that's a little bit on the short side, but again, give me some feedback and let me know if you like the shorter episodes. And, if you feel like there's anything else you'd like to see or you'd like me to change, don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Alright, let's get into it. And here we have yet another structure in the Black Forest. This one's just a skeleton tower. There's only a couple of them hanging around. Pretty easy to take care of them now that I've got my bone tower shield. I'll tell you one thing that we have been going quite well with, surprisingly, is carrot seeds. I've had saves before, like maps before, where it's taken me 2 or 3 different Black Forest areas before I even started seeing more than, a single plant. But this one Black Forest area, I've come across at least half a dozen so far, probably more. Pretty solid continuing abundance of things around. I did mark a few things on the map there, but obviously no room to actually pick it up. So, yep, here we pop our Go-Go Gadget Ike there buff, and we are stinging it back to base to unload. can't remember exactly when they did it, but I'm actually quite happy that they made the tamed boars not afraid of fire anymore. It does make laying your base out a little bit easier. You used to have to be quite mindful of where you put your forges and your cooking fires and all the rest of it if you had tamed animals, but yeah, thanks developers, that has made the universe a lot easier to deal with. Alright, and there's our first bit of new kit for this episode, a cultivator. Very essential for any type of farming. As you can see there, you can actually replant trees with it as well. Of note, you actually don't need to have tilled the ground when you're planting trees, but you do need to have prepared ground for, any of the normal farmable crops. So, in this case, shortly I'll be planting some carrots and aiming to advance my food tech. That said though, I don't have enough tin left to make the cauldron, which is what's used to make the more complicated recipes. I can see some more mining in my future, but not in this episode. Alright, we're now going to get our farmer Joe or John or whatever you like to call your farmers. We're going to get a bit of that action going. Step one is to cultivate all of the ground that you're planning on putting seed into. I'm pre-cultivating an area which eventually I will have enough seeds to cover completely. But just for the moment, I've got 48. Now, 48 seems like a lot, but when you see them all planted, you'll realise that space I've left, I could fit a whole lot more than 48 in there. Also, I was feeling a bit guilty about my pig pen not having any grass in it, so that's another function you can do with the cultivation tool. The grass doesn't really serve any function other than aesthetics, but it makes me feel better about my little piggies. Alright, just topping off all of the production there before I, sleep the night out. Anything you've got queued up in the, the smelter or the charcoal maker, or indeed any of your other sort of queued production, as you can hear from that noise, it will complete usually before you wake up, although it depends on how much of the night you've actually got left. Small cut there because I had to AFK and do some stuff, and a bunch of somewhat personal stuff popped up on the screen. Don't worry, you didn't actually miss anything. Now, the jury's out on whether farming is boring, but, you know, at least the boars love you. Now, with that appalling joke out of the way, we can get on with planting some carrots. The spacing I'm using is very close to the minimum. You can actually go a little bit closer, but, you know, as you see when I do my next row, I do tend to zap down pretty quick, and it gives me a little bit of margin for error. Now, the problem here with crops is if you put them too close together, you'll find one of them will grow and the other one will complain it doesn't have room. Now, if you leave it without doing anything, the one that says it doesn't have room, when it matures, or actually it won't mature, it just kind of rots in the ground and you lose that seed. So if you're not planning on sort of losing any production, you're better off just spacing them out just a little bit more than you need to, and then you won't have to worry about it and you get maximum efficiency. I mean, if you don't care, you can kind of space them out as much as you want. But yeah, just be aware if you put them in the ground and like 5 or 10 seconds later, one of them sort of turns like an olive or a brown, mouse your cursor over it and it will say, you know, this plant doesn't have enough room. I was debating what to do with this boar. You will get this once in a blue moon, depending on the nature of your boar pen. When it's just the wood fence like I have, sometimes the little piggies, when they're born, they'll just, you know, they'll appear just outside of the fence line. And then, of course, they grow up and you end up with these random boars walking around your base. They don't die of starvation or anything. Their food mechanic works a bit like your own, in the sense that if you're not fed, you're not just gonna, you know, die. If the boars aren't fed, all that happens is, you know, they just don't breed. But one little boar, you know, out by himself isn't going to breed with anyone because they need a companion. So the two choices you've got is to quote unquote extract resources out of the lone boar, or you can give it some sort of a cute name and, you know, just randomly feed it once in a while just to assuage your conscience. You can guess I'm going with the latter here. Alright, and we have now returned to the point where you can hear the gears turning in my head. I was, you know, tossing up whether to upgrade to a copper knife, but even though it was a noticeable damage upgrade, it wasn't noticeable enough. I'm probably going to go up to the Abyssal Razor at some stage, so, you know, spoiler on that one, but I'll be able to, sort of later in the Bronze Age, I'll have enough to actually go out and get some of the mats I need for the Abyssal Razor. Given that's, relatively speaking, not that far away, and given I am ultimately looking to raid some more dungeons, having a blunt weapon to deal with all the skeletons, much better choice, and hence, making the bronze mace. When you're busy focused on the Bronze Age tech, it's easy to ignore the obvious stuff that you might already have the mats for. So I already did have the fine wood bow, but I'd forgotten that I had enough wood now to actually put 2 upgrade levels on it to vastly improve the damage and the durability of it. Never shy away from an upgrade if you've got the option. Alright, well, as you can see, we're basically out of wood at this stage, and needless to say, I'm going to be gathering a lot more copper and tin for smelting. So I'm now have my eyes firmly set on this delightful forest I have available for demolishment. Except I remember one other very useful tree up the hill here. It's that big oak tree. Now, the oak trees are fantastic. Yes, they're big. Yes, they can't be chopped down with just a stone axe. You do need bronze or better, but you get a bucket load of wood out of them, both fine wood and regular wood. And of course, because it's late in the day, there's a couple of the locals that want to show up and, well, you know, teach me the ways of not chopping trees down. But, well, all I can say is axe beats whatever the hell you are, and industry, baby. Alright, granted it does take a few swings to chop them down, but as you can see, we got 25 regular wood and a little bit more than that in fine wood just out of one tree. That's not a bad haul. Now the acorns, I mean, this seems odd to me that I got so many out of one tree. My past experience is definitely not that generous with acorns. But I didn't want to lose them, and I didn't want to accidentally use them on something else. So I've put them straight back in the ground using the cultivator. I don't know, give it a few days or a week game time, and I'll have a few more oak trees there to chop down and get more wood out of. Good morning indeed. A little bit more of a quiet episode this time. Mostly crafting and, you know, chopping down a bunch of trees. If you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave me a like. If you want to get to watch some more of the content in the future, make sure you are subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. In the meantime, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.